Alright, so today we're going to be working on using image trace. It's a really nice feature to vectorize something, which vectorize means to change it from a raster image, so just a straight picture, into a vector image, and that's something that can be scaled and reduced and it'll never get blurry. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and Illustrator is really good for this, has a really nice feature. So first thing I need you to do is download the files from the Canvas page, and once you get the files we're going to open each of them up. So I'm going to go File and then Open, and yours aren't labeled Cougar and Pizza, but the first one that should show up should be the pizza document, so I'm going to click Open, and it's a little bit larger as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out, so I'm going to hit Control minus and zoom out so I can get the whole pizza on the page, and then I'm just going to reduce the size. Let's make this a 10 inches by 10 inches. Let me go back and do that again. So I'm locking, first I have to lock it in my properties panel, and then I'm going to change this to 10 inches. 10 inches. Alright, so that gets it on my page. So 720 by 720. Alright, I'm going to zoom back in, Control plus to zoom back in. Alright, and next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my window panel. So I go to my window menu, and then I go down to my image trace. So right here, image trace, and I bring this dialog box up. So there's two places for image trace. There's image trace using the panel, and there's also image trace using object and image trace in here. Object, image trace. So we're going to be using them both, but I really want to feature using that panel because it gives you a little bit more control. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to click our V key on our keyboard, and we're going to select the pizza in the middle here, and I'm going to go to my options right here. So if you look at each of these, we have presets, so 3 colors, 16 colors. So this is probably going to go right into that 16 colors right there. And we also have view tracing results. You can also trace with outlines and other things, and mode, color, or black and white, or grayscale. So I'm going to change it to color, and for this first one it's probably 16 colors, but just to be sure I'm just going to leave it at custom, and then right now it says the colors are 30, so I'm going to do this for 30 colors, and I'm going to click preview right here, and then it gives me a warning saying the image will proceed slowly. It shouldn't be slowly, and then we'll see what happens. So it's already done, and then if I take a look at this, I'm going to go to outline view. It's still it looks like a picture, but what happens when I go to object and expand, it's going to expand it. So object and fill, I want to do it both, and click OK, and now it expanded it into a vector. So see, it's a vector now, and this allows me to delete things or change things. So I can change the background color. So maybe I'm changing the color or something, and I can now go through and change these things in Illustrator and make them how I want it to be. And it's all vector, so that I can expand this. So let's select, I double clicked on this and I'm selecting the pizza. Let me double click again. So I'm gonna use my I'm gonna hit A for my direct selection arrow, and I'm gonna delete this background so I can just get to the pizza, and I'm gonna select the pizza and then say object, ungroup, and let's see if I can just get the pizza. Object, ungroup. Alright, so now it's all ungrouped. So I can expand this, I can make it smaller, I can change the dimensions on it, so I can do a lot of different things once I make it into a vector. But the best part of it being vector is now all my colors are very crisp. So they're very crisp. And vectors aren't perfect. There's some areas on here which you're going to see don't look great. So like right around here, you can see that this didn't really draw it perfectly in these areas around these two things. But it's still a very nice clean vector, and we can put it on t-shirt, we can do other things with it, animate it, do other things. Alright, so let's try the next one. So File, Open, and we're going to go with the cougar. Actually, we're going to go with the cougar. So that's the third one in your file. So this one is just a black and white image, and this one should be a little bit easier. Color, once you start working with color, it's a little bit more difficult to vectorize it, but with this it should be a little bit easier. So I'm going to select my my cougar, and then I'm going to change my tracing results to black and white, and I'm going to click preview and click OK. Alright, so it traced it already. And remember, if I look at the outline of it, it's still an image, really. It's still a picture. Even though it's vector, it's still a picture pretty much, and I can't manipulate it much. But if I go to Object and Expand and click OK, now it's something that I can manipulate. So I can click, I'm going to click on the black of this, and I'm going to change the color. So mode, RGB, and let's go with the red or pink. Alright, so I can go in and start changing these colors, and black and whites really translate well to being vector. They don't mess up as many places, so as you can see, it's a little bit rounded in some of the areas, but it's a lot better than if you were doing it in color. Alright, so that's our black and white cougar. And for the last one, we're going to do an image. We're going to do a girl with a backpack. So we're going to click Open, and we're going to adorable girl blouse. And this one, we're going to see how it changes this to vector, and it does pretty well, but it's not the best. It has a nice solid background, which should translate well, but we'll see how well the picture translates. So we select it again, and so this one we can change it to color, and again it stops at 30 right there. You can go into advanced settings if you want to really fool around with the stuff. I usually don't change them that much, but I'm going to click preview, and preview is the same as clicking the trace button, but it gives you a preview on the screen of what it looks like ahead of time. So as you can see, it doesn't look as good. We're losing a lot of the color in the face and other things, but it's still a pretty cool vector. This is something that you could use, and remember, you can expand these to whatever size you need, or you can reduce them and they won't get any more blurry. But as you can see, it didn't do a great job on the actual image. But depending on the type of image, you know, if it was an animal or something where it had a lot of colors, the skin tones were a little bit difficult, the shadows. But like something like with like an eagle or you know, a cougar or something, again, you might see a little bit of weird shapes, but it'll still look like an animal because we pretty much know what it's supposed to look like. With this girl, you know, we look at faces and we're like, oh, and I don't know this person, so it looks a little bit weird. But I think it did a good job. And again, if we expand that, Object, Expand, and click OK, you can see how it breaks it apart. So it does the gradient and all of that in there. So that's the tutorial for this, the lecture for this. Have fun playing around with Image Trace, and I'll see you next time.